It is official that the pound-for-pound king, Terence "Bud" Crawford, has agreed in principle to face off against the 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar, first ballot Hall of Famer, Saúl Canelo Álvarez. So Canelo Álvarez has agreed. Terence Crawford, we knew he was going to agree. And they're working out the details to showcase their talents. Riyadh season, Cinco de Mayo weekend in May.
Hate me, but I think it's a 50-50 fight.
Hell of a fight.
Hate me, but I think it's a 50-50 fight. It's really, really hard for me to see Canelo losing to Crawford. But it's also, there's things that I can see that Crawford is so good at.
Yeah.
That it's like, I can't see him not being able to be sharp and do that round after round, man.
Can Crawford beat the odds and overcome the challenge of a higher weight class? Let's see what the pros say. Longa thinks Crawford's legendary skills could defy the odds against Canelo. But will the weight difference be too much for the welterweight champion?
I think it happened in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, you know, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, you can't.
Andre Rosier, a renowned boxing trainer, has shared his thoughts on Terence Crawford's chances of stepping up to fight Canelo Álvarez. While Crawford is coming off a win at welterweight, Rosier believes that taking on Canelo at a higher weight class could be a bridge too far.
The only thing he could possibly do at this point to regain that status is to beat someone of note in another weight class. And
Rosier acknowledges that Crawford's move to 150 pounds might be a realistic step, but he firmly doubts the success of a jump to face Canelo, calling it a dangerous leap. 54
is going to be enough for him. Him going up to fighting, quote unquote, if it should happen, Canelo, I don't see that ending well. It's just too much and too far to go. But that's what it would take.
Rosier's warning highlights the monumental task Crawford would face in taking on the pound-for-pound star at such a significant weight disadvantage. What do you think? Is Crawford biting off more than he can chew, or could he shock the world once again? Canelo Álvarez reveals his thoughts on a potential fight with Terence Crawford, fueling excitement among boxing fans worldwide.
Yes, it is official that the pound-for-pound king, 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed world champion, and reigning WBA junior middleweight world champion, superstar boxer, Terence "Bud" Crawford, future first ballot Hall of Famer, undefeated, 41 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout, 37 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach, has agreed in principle. We knew he was going to agree to face off against the 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar, first ballot Hall of Famer, former undisputed super middleweight world champion, and reigning unified super middleweight world champion, Saúl Canelo Álvarez.
Mexican boxer Canelo Álvarez has, in a way, confirmed his readiness to face Terence Crawford, creating buzz around what could be one of the most anticipated fights in boxing today. This possible showdown would feature 2 elite fighters at the pinnacle of their careers.
Crawford's name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance?
You know, I always say if it's a fight.
The fight between Canelo and Crawford promises to be monumental. Canelo, the undisputed super middleweight champion, has dominated his class with power and precision. Crawford, widely regarded as one of the most skilled fighters of this age, brings a combination of technical brilliance and intelligent strategy that has propelled him to the top of the pound-for-pound rankings.
See, he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but
Canelo, Álvarez, the undisputed super middleweight champion, hasn't shied away from the chance of facing Terence Crawford in the ring. While Crawford's leap into a higher weight class has sparked debates, Canelo remains confident in his ability to dominate the smaller fighter. Speaking on Sway's Universe, Canelo made it clear that he's not only open to the challenge, but sees it as an opportunity to make a bold statement.
Be willing to pay whatever you want to fight Crawford. Yeah.
If he's willing to pay whatever I want, hands down.
That'll work. So if yeah, you're in. So if the numbers were right with Crawford, you'll do it.
Why not? Why not? I think Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy money.
Canelo's remarks reflect his belief that the weight disparity gives him a major edge over Crawford. With a history of dismantling elite opponents at super middleweight, Canelo seems to view the potential clash as more of a financial opportunity than a risky challenge. However, for fans and analysts, Crawford's skills and determination could make this fight more unpredictable than Canelo anticipates. While Canelo Álvarez has shown interest in a potential showdown with Terence Crawford, he also offered deeper insight into his thoughts on the matchup. Canelo didn't hesitate to address Crawford's fighting style, acknowledging the challenges of facing a highly skilled opponent. Despite his reservations, the undisputed champion revealed that the fight could happen under the right circumstances, especially if the financial stakes are high enough.
Right? I'm in, because, you know, I don't like to fight guys like Crawford because he move a lot and the fight is not that great. I saw Crawford the last fight and he don't move that much now. So if the money is...
Canelo's words highlight the complexities of making this fight a reality. While he acknowledges Crawford's talent, he remains confident in the natural advantages provided by his weight class. At the same time, his comments about money and stylistic preferences suggest that for Canelo, the matchup is more about the spectacle and payday than the competitive allure. This adds another layer to the growing debate. Can Crawford's skill overcome the weight disparity, or is Canelo right to rely on the limits of weight classes? This statement marks a notable shift for Canelo, who had previously voiced reluctance to face Crawford, citing the lack of credit he would receive for defeating a smaller opponent.
Everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And, you know, like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2-3 ways class.
I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and I always say that. No disrespect him, but you know, sometimes it's a little crazy that people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big, which he is big, and everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford. Fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo. So no make sense when you guys say that right now. At the end of the day, I don't want to have credit to face Crawford, but you know, you never know. You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So it's possible. Why not? It's possible.
And I can't go down anymore. But you know, like he say, you know, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because everybody's gonna say it's too small, and then, you know, he need to enjoy his.
Meanwhile, Crawford has shown persistence in pursuing the matchup, ready to move up 2 weight classes to prove his dominance.
Canelo gets through Jermell, and then you guys fight. That fight would be gigantic.
And it's crazy because, like, in the past interviews, I was like, man, Canelo too big, man. It's weight classes for a reason. I was like, nah. But in my mind, in my heart, I don't think nobody too big, you know, especially in a fight. I'm a fighter. But, like, I was thinking, like, man, it could happen. So you start really sitting down like, man, that fight maybe can happen. Okay, so now you start.
Crawford is fully aware of the physical disadvantage he would face against Canelo, admitting that size will play a crucial role in the fight. However, he remains confident in his ability to overcome this challenge and impose his boxing style.
I mean, but I'm faster. You know, so then you start doing the advantages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, man, we right there.
Yeah.
We right there, you know what I mean? So I was like, man.
And it's not like he didn't go up in weight as well.
Keith Thurman, a former world champion and analyst of the sport, recently broke down why Terence Crawford might see weaknesses in Canelo Álvarez. Drawing from Canelo's performance against Jermall Charlo, Thurman highlighted specific moments in the fight that could fuel Crawford's belief in his chances. His detailed observations suggest that Crawford's strategic mind may be identifying patterns.
When Canelo fought Charlo, besides the knockdown, Charlo was able to protect himself very well against Canelo's onslaught. The only problem was, while protecting himself, there was no offense.
Thurman stressed how Charlo's defensive adjustments mitigated damage after the knockdown, but also highlighted a lack of counterattacks, which allowed Canelo to dominate. He suggested that Crawford, known for his adaptability and offensive creativity, likely sees an opportunity to exploit these moments by blending strong defense with calculated aggression.
Seeing what I saw, I believe Crawford saw the same thing. If Charlo can go so untouched by just being, once he got dropped, spider senses, boom, fully awakened, right? Boom. So now hands up, don't make no mistakes. So, that's how it is. We saw it in the Munguia fight, we saw it in the last fight. It's those little mistakes that end up having big consequences against Canelo, right?
Thurman's insight paints a picture of Crawford studying Canelo's recent fights to find exploitable gaps in his offense. While Charlo relied heavily on defense to survive, Crawford may aim to combine similar tactics with his boxing IQ to not only neutralize Canelo's power but also create scoring opportunities. However, Thurman also underscored the risks. One mistake against Canelo can instantly turn the tide.
Crawford is trash. Don't ever compare Crawford to Canelo again. Shout out young Triple G. He did his I felt he won at least a draw. The judges, you weirdos, you guys suck ass. And Crawford, you're not pound for pound. Suck it. You never fought nobody good. You fought Spence that had a car accident.
The renowned sports analyst Stephen A. Smith recently shared his take on the possible mega fight between Canelo Álvarez and Terence Crawford. Known for his candid views, Smith dissected the clash, weighing Crawford's superior boxing skills against Canelo's power and physicality. While he acknowledged the greatness of both fighters, Smith highlighted the key factors that could determine the outcome.
Catches him, it could be trouble. But I would still say it would be a very interesting fight. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. And I'm wondering whether he could stay away. Again, Crawford is the superior boxer. But if he can't hurt Canelo, you can't keep him off of him. And that's where the problem lies.
What do you think a win like that would do for Crawford? Would that put him
I think it was
Mayweather?
He and I spoke about it. He and I spoke about it in Vegas when
Smith's analysis highlights the critical balance between skill and strength. He believes Crawford's technical ability could pose problems for Canelo, but without the power to back it up, the relentless Mexican champion might overwhelm him. Smith went further, breaking down Canelo's approach to fights and the risks Crawford would face if caught by one of his shots.
Canelo is a very powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot. But to me, can Crawford hurt him? I would pick Crawford to win if he can box and stay away. I don't believe he can hurt Canelo. And if Canelo catches him, it could be trouble. But I would still say it would be a very interesting fight. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. And
predictions highlight the high stakes of this potential fight. On one hand, Crawford's technical mastery could expose Canelo's reliance on power shots. On the other, Canelo's physicality and knockout potential could neutralize Crawford's boxing finesse. As fans and analysts debate the matchup, Smith's comments emphasize the razor-thin margin that could define this historic fight. Regardless of these concerns, the potential showdown between Canelo and Crawford has captivated boxing fans worldwide. The blend of power, speed, skill, and charisma from both fighters sets the stage for what could be an unforgettable spectacle. Alexis Rocha, a welterweight contender who has shared the ring with both Canelo Álvarez and Terence Crawford in sparring. Sessions offered a unique perspective on their potential clash. Having experienced their skill sets firsthand, Rocha weighed in on the matchup, acknowledging the physical differences while highlighting both fighters' abilities.
Terence Crawford, yes, there is weight classes for a reason. Canelo is a lot bigger. Crawford has that, he also has a good size to him where he has that good size and he has that reach and he has that boxing IQ. That's the most important thing when it comes to a boxing game is the IQ. You know, I think Crawford will hold his own very good in that fight. But I will lean a little bit more towards Canelo given the fact that he's more experienced and he's been in there with bigger guys.
Rocha's analysis aligns with the common narrative surrounding this fight. Canelo's size and power could present insurmountable challenges for Crawford, despite his superior boxing IQ and adaptability. For Rocha, the combination of Canelo's physicality and experience gives him the edge. His perspective adds another layer to the ongoing debate. Will Crawford's skill be enough to defy the laws of boxing's weight classes? Saúl, Canelo. Álvarez has yet to decide on his opponent for his next fight in 2025. However, it's looking increasingly likely that Terence Crawford could be the one to step into the ring with him. Crawford has openly expressed his desire to fight Canelo and has directly challenged the Mexican champion, though he is still waiting for an answer.
You're serious about fighting Canelo Álvarez?
Of course.
I know you're serious, but I've got to ask you for the people that are watching.
Of course
Are
I'm
you
serious.
confident that that fight is a fight that you can win?
Well, I'm always confident that I can win any fight that I step foot in the ring. You know, Canelo is a big, strong competitor. He's a great fighter. He's a future Hall of Famer. And that's what we in the game for, is to leave a legacy that will last, surpass our lifetime.
Now, media outlets such as FTV Boxing report that Crawford's name is among those on Canelo's list of potential opponents. However, he may be the best option for Canelo's return to the ring in May. While the fight's date at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas has not yet been confirmed, speculation continues to grow. Sean Porter, a former welterweight champion who shared the ring with Terence Crawford, has voiced his concerns about Canelo Álvarez facing Crawford. Having experienced Crawford's skill firsthand, Porter admires his boxing ability, but fears that the size and power disparity could pose a major risk for Crawford in this potential matchup.
That's two more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down. You know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So
Porter's warning underscores the physical challenge Crawford would face against a fighter like Canelo, who has showcased devastating power at higher weight classes. While Crawford's technical skills and adaptability are unquestioned, Porter's concerns highlight the inherent danger of moving up to face a much larger opponent. This fuels the ongoing debate. Does Crawford's skill set outweigh the risks, or is he stepping into a situation where the odds are heavily stacked against him? Another important factor to consider is trainer Robert Garcia's recent hints about the potential matchup. Reports suggest that Crawford is on Canelo's shortlist for their Cinco de Mayo fight. While nothing is official, rumors indicate that T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas could be the venue. Talks of a May 2025 showdown between Canelo Álvarez and Terence Crawford are gaining momentum, with Garcia reinforcing the speculation that Crawford is a serious contender for Canelo's next fight.
The Benavides question, you get asked this all the time. I almost hate asking you, but you know, if someone's willing to put up the $250 million,
I mean,
would you negotiate down?
No less than 200.
No less than 200.
Ooh.
On the other hand, if offered $200 million, Canelo would be willing to fight David Benavides. Meanwhile, Dimitri Bivol remains on the list for a potential rematch. However, Bivol himself has stated that while he is open to facing Canelo again, it is not his current priority, as he has other objectives in mind.
Crawford, what will make sense? Like, there's a couple of names out there.
Benavides, but we know that's not gonna happen.
There are few legitimate opponents left for Canelo outside of Benavides and Crawford. However, a Canelo versus Crawford showdown, especially if held in the US, could potentially break the elusive 1 million pay-per-view sales barrier. Among Crawford's past PPV events, his dominant victory over Errol Spence Jr. was by far the most successful, selling 700,000 units in the US alone. Meanwhile, Canelo has fought on PPV 16 times, generating a combined 11.6 million sales and nearly $1 billion in revenue. There are also rumors that Turki Al-Sheikh could fund the fight to take place in Las Vegas. While nothing is official, money talks, and we all know the kind of staggering offers Saudi billionaires present to ensure the fights they want take place. Al-Sheikh is reportedly keen on seeing Canelo versus Crawford, a fascinating clash between two modern-day greats. Crawford, 41-0, 31 KOs, already a four-weight champion, would be giving up significant size if he fought Canelo at 168 lbs. However, he has previously stated that he's willing to take that challenge. On the other hand, Canelo, now 34 and turning 35 in July, may have slowed just enough for Crawford's slick boxing skills to secure a decision win. That said, Crawford himself is 37, and while he hasn't shown signs of decline, a sudden drop-off could happen at any time. If that moment comes in this fight, it could be disastrous for him. As speculation swirls about Canelo's next fight in May, the question remains, if not Crawford, then who? But if Canelo versus Crawford does happen on May 3rd, it will be a true, daring to be great moment, drawing worldwide attention. The biggest showdown in boxing is within reach. Will Crawford's technical brilliance be enough to overcome Canelo's power, or is the size difference simply too much? Share your thoughts in the comment section.